Okay, I know what's been going on throughout the past whole year so far. And I really thought it was going to get better after this, but seeing what's been going on recently in the community, it's bad. And believe me, I've been trying to cope throughout the whole year. In fact, I really enjoyed the shows. You know, if it wasn't for my dad introducing me to this show in the first place, I would have never been the fun and energetic fan I was now. In fact, if it wasn't for me returning back to the wrestling hype back in 2021, I would probably be in a psych ward for my weird, loving obsession for a non-existent 20th Century Fox logo, and might probably never see the light of day or school again. So I'd be in a totally different place if it wasn't for this community. But to have someone as big as Super Javier Logan step out of the WWE community, you know it's getting bad. You probably know Super Javier Logan for the movie called SJL, the movie, The Final Mission, starring the Little Einsteins, who, by the way, are the best little kids of all time. Way better than Super Y and all that Gen Alpha shit nowadays. So shout out to the Little Einsteins. But to have someone like SJL step out of the WWE community, you know it's going to get bad. I was afraid something like this would happen. So, some of you probably don't know, John Cena will be facing Gunther, and WWE hasn't been doing its best. But I really tried to enjoy the show, especially with my dad. We've had some pretty fun moments this time of year, but there's been a lot of crap, negativity, and criticism going on with Triple H and his booking choices. So I'm going to get down to business. So my dad's favorite wrestlers, other than Hulk Hogan and Macho Man, were like Triple H. Triple H was his fan favorite, like his diehard favorite. And he loves what he does for the business. Especially for coming stars like Ilya Dragunov and Braun Breaker. But to see all this negativity out of Triple H's creative choices and wanting Vince to come back, it's kind of hypocritical, because what Vince was doing for the show was also weird enough. If you thought this year was bad, check out what happened in 2019. That's the year I left. And I even left all the way when Retribution showed up in 2020. That was bullshit. But to see all this negativity from Triple H, it's kind of sad, really. Look, the year started was a great success. When Raw headed to Netflix, it was an easy piece of cake. Nowadays, I'm hearing the shit that Netflix just sucked the shit out of Warner Brothers, and now they own the entire Shield business. Like, holy fucking shit. I mean, they're just absorbing everything at this point. Excuse me for my language, but, yeah. It's crazy to know that Warner Brothers is owned by Netflix now. There's a lot of pros and cons to that, but, just so we're on the hook, movie theaters are not dying. They're just gonna, they're just going to limit their theater expenses to 2 weeks. So they'll be for a very limited time only. But back to the main point here. When Raw headed to Netflix, everyone across the globe can see the show. As a United States person, we still have these other streaming services. But to people internationally, you get to see pay-per-views on Netflix. Around here these days, we have something called ESPN. And it's not really the best, actually. The only way to watch these pay-per-views free is if you were to go to Hulu on Disney+. But to use the ESPN site, you got to pay with a VPN or some shit like that, which I'm not going to do. I'd rather watch my pay-per-views on Disney+. It's the easiest life hack, really. I mean, if you have the Disney, Hulu, and Max plan, which was the Disney, Hulu, and ESPN plan at some point, which is kind of weird and insulting, because what's going to happen because HBO Max? Because, I guess it's going to be still around, but considering the fact that Warner Brothers is now consumed by the entire Netflix service, it kind of baffles me, Reminds me of the time Blockbuster wanted to buy Netflix or something like that, but they didn't want that. Now Blockbuster's no more. So, this would have been so much better if Blockbuster and Netflix have accepted the deal. No, I just can't accept the fact that Warner Brothers, which is almost 100-year-old company, was sucked by a company that only existed like 30 to 20 years ago. That's bullshit, I guess. But I guess it's kind of bizarre, Just like the Disney-Fox deal. I did make a big fuss about the Disney-Fox deal. There were a lot of videos on my channel that are now deleted, especially the Wedding of the Decade with Jimmy Fallon and Tucker Carlson hosting, with singing performances by Sia and Ariana Grande. We don't talk about that. Not anymore. It's kind of cringe anyway. I didn't have the right editing skills to, make it a high-quality performance, and I was still in school. Probably my freshman and sophomore year. Other than that, yeah. So, back to the topic here. If it wasn't for Triple H, none of you would have been easily been able to see what was going on around WWE that simply. With WWE heading to Netflix, it was flexible. But people, over time, didn't like the booking choices. Here's one of the main criticism issues most fans are talking about. They dub it the Jey fatigue. In case you don't already know, Jey Uso has been overpushed to win the Royal Rumble and then win the world title for only just a couple days. At first, I thought this was a great idea. But when I found out they were just overpushing Jey to the max, which is like milking him, I was like, okay. I like this dude and all. I really do. I love Jey Uso. But I think you did enough with him. I feel like what you did in the beginning of the year was enough. Good thing he was beat by LA Knight. But at what cost? The other problem is the advertisements. And it's not only just in WWE. It's also in IMAX Entertainment Complex. The last time I really enjoyed an intermission with just music and silent theater slides was Fantastic Four. But when I got to the movies to see Predator Badlands, they went full AMC. And the moment I walk in, there's TV commercials. Yeah, loud-ass TV commercials the moment you walk in. At this point, this state is going to be covered with ads. It's really sad, I feel like this kind of really started when the prices for stuff went up. And back in 2020 of the virus. And the virus was only 5 years ago. I feel like this is because of the democracy. Donald Trump would never do this. I mean, I have proof we had fewer ads in the past. Don't believe me? Watch VHS tapes of Disney Channel commercial breaks. They only show you Disney Channel promos and Disney Channel music videos. No commercials for anything else like Tylenol or Bounty or any other shit. Yeah, it's true. Go look up those tapes. Back in the day, you only had commercials for said channel. I think there's some channels that still do that. But nowadays it's just commercials for just, everything the media is trying to buzz into you for like 2 to 3 minutes. It's not cool. So I can understand why the ad things are a bit different and why the referees wear different clothes now. At least the AEW referees get to wear their black and white striped shirts. Okay, so another issue I'd like to address is people not liking Triple H. I want to get back to that subject real quick. So we all know that so recently after WrestleMania 41 there was this thing going on where he said if you're not a real fan of the business, then you can fuck off. That is what he actually said. The only reason he said that is because there's a lot of people on the internet that don't like what's going on right now, and only real fans really enjoy the show. That caused a major widespread and stuff. Nowadays, people don't even know who to trust at this point. So, that's another issue. I've been a fan for most of my life. I've been watching this crap since like the last few years of the Scratch era logo. And like 2014, 13, and 12. Maybe even 2011. As a person born in 2006, I can understand why I didn't see the Spike TV era. But, yeah. Not to mention in 2007 when they bought ECW. That was a shit show. If you thought this year was bad, look up 2007 in WWE. That was a shit show too. But, yeah. And I can see the problem. Here's another problem I want to talk about. The Cody Rhodes issue. A year ago, everyone was happy that Cody finished the story. Now they're just claiming him as boring and stuff. And want other people to have the title, like Drew McIntyre, for example. Which the storyline is still feuding to as we speak. So, that might last a bit. So, I can understand why you have a problem with Cody Rhodes now. You think that he's, He's done his part, and now you want to play with someone else to have the title. I guess I can understand that. And also with CM Punk, that's the same issue. Look, I tell you, around January 5th, we might have Braun Breaker win the world title. That's a promise. I think that's going to happen. So I really hope this year is going to be better. I hope. But, yeah. So here's how I think the year went. It was pretty good. I enjoyed every single pay-per-view. Not only just the main event matches that stand out, but the other matches too. I believe at SummerSlam there was a bitchin' tables, ladders, and chairs match no one talks about anymore. And that was really fun. But other than that, kind of around September is when I met all the hate and criticism. So let me discuss the streaming issue. So you got everything on WWE Network. Then you got everything on Peacock. But not really much on ESPN. Not even Disney Plus or Hulu. Gotta pay $30 for that shit, I guess. I mean, back then, you know, with all the old stuff leaving Peacock on the 30th of December, it's quite sad. It's also quite sad to know that MTV is closing its doors on New Year's Eve. That's right, MTV. Because they've been airing reruns of Catfish and other shows for teenagers instead of actual music. They're closing its doors to make way through other stuff to be on Paramount Plus. So, yeah, that's also bad news. So, I guess 2025 wasn't really the best year in points of media and stuff. But I've at least tried to make some good memories. But I have a feeling that 2023, 2021, and maybe even, I guess, 2016 were better years than this one. Because honestly, it's kind of a shit show dealing with all the crap on the socials. You know, I've been trying to enjoy all the love and peace and community, but it just doesn't seem that way, I guess. I'm really hoping that next year will be different. Because I don't think I can stand another year dealing with all this crap and criticism, you know? And as heard from Super Javier Logan, if the wrestling industry of WWE is dying as a whole and it's just going to come crashing down, I guess it's no use. I guess I'll just stay till the end. Because if I leave, I'll have no purpose. I'm still trying to look for a part-time job, and I've been doing this for so long, ever since I opened this channel, Phoenix Studios, and if the criticism just keeps up, I might just leave YouTube and start going to a campus in college, because if all else fails, I'll just grow up, because at this point, I don't think I can stand another year of criticism and hate and the street and all my friends going away from a certain community. December is supposed to be a happy time, a holly jolly time. I don't know what went wrong. I really don't. So, yeah, I guess that's all I have to say. There'll be more videos coming up discussing on what I want for next year. And another thing I want to point out is the John Cena retirement tour. It's been a bit of a roller coaster, really. So, unfortunately, I will be off YouTube, probably, to enjoy the farewell tour's grand finale. Even if it means having to see him get squashed by Gunther. This isn't the first time I had to watch someone retire into the hands of Gunther. Believe me. And even so, I am mentally well prepared that next year I probably won't be making as much videos. And I'll be probably going off to campus. That's also a plan my other friends want to do, like Omar and Josh, Maybe even Emperor Henry, because he's graduated. But other than that, there's no point in me continuing if everyone's just going to, bitch and criticize. I came to the WWE community to find a place to have fun. And ever since I came back in 2021, I had high hopes. I really did. I had fun over the past 4 years. But to see everyone just criticize even more just makes me even more sad. The internet is growing. People are using Sora 2 as real life. It's out of control. So honestly, at this point, I feel like 2026 is the year I finally grow up. It's supposed to be my 20th anniversary. I'm going to decide whether I'll release the movies that I've kept delaying. And I'm still trying to find an alternative to Wait.com since they got rid of the celebrity cloning AI voice thing. But other than that, there is nothing really much for me to say. I feel like I've said it all from here. So, honestly, I hope some of you can understand this. And I really hope next year would be better because, honestly, there wasn't really much to enjoy about this year after all. I'll see what I can, post next week. There are premieres coming on the 13th, but with all this negativity, sadness, and postponing I have to deal with in my life, well, not really most of my life, I'm going to need some time alone. I've never really felt this guilty about the pressures of real life society than right now, because at some point I'm going to have to leave all of this behind. Just like some of my other friends, including Retro Miller 1997. So, yeah. But, who knows? Maybe God will find a way to give me luck. So far, it hasn't really shown. I guess that's really it. I'm sorry if I went off the rails. It's just there's been so much going on in my mind. I've been trying to think positive for most of the year ever since, the criticism went into September. But it's not really showing, is it? Yeah. So I hope you ponies understand. I mean, ponies, Zootopians, Ferbsters, Phoenix Pals, whatever. I hope everybody understands. And I don't mean this as something to be rude, but I really hope this next year would be better. And it's going to be a lot more sad and difficult knowing that John Cena won't be wrestling next year. So, I guess that's it. I guess this has been 2025 so far. Yeah. Thank you for listening, and I guess I'll see you when the next video comes out or something. I'll see you all on Saturday. Take care.